Hey lads, listen, I hope you're having a great day, and hey, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and a comment about how much you enjoyed the video. Also, consider subscribing. You won't regret it, and hey, who knows, maybe if you stick around, you might make a few memories. Okay, back to the video. Have you ever thought of taking real-life difficulties and mixing them into Minecraft? And not just that, adding a bunch of new monsters that are like 1,000 times stronger than the basic mobs of Minecraft? Yeah, me neither. But that's exactly what RLCraft is. It's one of the biggest and most difficult mod packs available for Minecraft. Everywhere you turn, there's danger. And you know what? I'm gonna live in this wasteland for 100 days. And you know what? On day 100, I'm gonna face a dragon. Do you wanna know what the locals call this dragon? They call him the Guardian. Years ago, this vile beast used to protect the lands that it now destroys. Legend has it humanity grew so far away from these creatures that they now see humanity as enemies and not as an ally. And I'm gonna face this thing. No matter how far I get, on day 100, it's me versus him. Lads, welcome to my RLCraft 100 days. Okay, let's go to day 1. Wow, day 1? What a day. I spawned at the bottom of the ocean. You know what? Of all biomes, the desert biome. I did find a cool village with some cool loot, but you know what else I found? Crab guys. Loads and loads of crab guys, and I didn't have to look twice to know that these guys were hostile. I also found this skeleton, so I put it on. Look at that. See this cool looking temple that probably has good loot in it? Yeah, I didn't explore it. Why? Because it looks like it has traps, so I didn't explore it. Do I regret this? Yes. But you know what? At least I explored this library, and I was gonna take the enchantment tables, but it felt like cheating, and yeah. I did take the torches though. I did take the torches. The desert heat, it was really getting to me now. I was spontaneously combusting, and I don't think jumping around while running was helping. But look, first dragon. I'm not gonna mess around with this guy. Then I got sucked into the ocean. You know, this is just RLCraft, and that was the end of that. The area I respawned in, it was pretty safe, but I wasted that time messing around and looking at stuff like this bird guy. And then I learned you could get cold at night, but before I could do anything about that, I was headshot by a skeleton. This is it's a fun game. And wow, guess where I respawned? Right next to a sea serpent. I didn't even have a chance to think. But you know what? The next place I spawned in, it looked great. It had this giant tree, and you know what I did? I dug myself into that tree and spent the night there. This is the safest place I'd ever been since I started. And look at this. I could see every monster that was waiting to catch me the moment I stepped out. And this creeper, it kind of kept me company the whole night. It didn't explode. It just kind of sat there. Day 2 was as unproductive as any other day. I got bit by something, I lost my vision. I found a turkey, and I spent the rest of my time looking for gravel. And when I finally found it, my screen just went pitch black. I could still hear everything happening, but I couldn't see a thing. This was obviously a bug. So I tried restarting my game, and big surprise, that didn't help. So you know what I did? I ignored the problem. I found this massive tower that looked like it could have some good loot in it, so I obviously went to investigate. I found some wood, some armor. I couldn't put the armor on because I wasn't high enough level, but I took some of it anyway. The tower didn't really have any loot. It just had a bunch of empty chests. But it did have a room with a bed, so I rest there for the night. On day 3, I finally crafted my real first weapon, but you know, it kind of looked like a pocket knife. And I won't lie, it took me the whole day to figure out how to craft this thing. But you know what? By the end of the day, I was chopping down trees. That was the most progress I had made since I started. And day 4, I didn't know this, but I saw my screen go blurry and all weird, so I assumed that my game was glitching. So you know what I did? I created a new world. Turns out I was just dehydrated. Really should have done more research. On day 5, I was attacked by this really slow tree guy. And then I saw him. The Guardian. He was my next door neighbor. And you know what? It looked like he was just taunting me now. He was just sat there. Almost as if to say, try attack me, you weakling. Look at this guy. I spent the rest of the day permanently borrowing resources from the village. And I found another skeleton head. You know, it was just destiny at this point. Wow. I also found some leather armor, and you know what? In RLCraft, any armor is good. I came across some iron tools, but again I was too low level to use them. On day 6 I realized I didn't even have a base, so I spent the rest of the day collecting resources to help me do just that. I also made myself a shield to better protect me, and look at these animations. Why does Minecraft not look like this? I dedicated the entirety of day 7 to building my base. Look, it's not going to be anything fancy, it's just going to be a boring old house. It was just so I can have a place to sleep. Day 8 was mostly the same as day 7, except I did have a complication. But at least I have the sunset. On day 9, I made myself a quick snack and reinforced my wooden shield into a stone one. I also wasn't high enough level to mine iron ore, so I stayed up later to grind some XP from the mobs. And let me say, I was slicing and dicing these guys. I was getting XP left, right and center until I ran across the spider that for some reason turned into a mini boss and started shooting fireballs. Since when did spiders shoot fireballs? I of course died. It wasn't prepared for that. Oh yeah, my stuff. I went back to get my stuff anyway. It was all burnt to a crisp. Yeah, none of it left. Everything was gone. And I spent the rest of that night just fighting for my life. What a night the night of day 9 was. Everything was just out to get me. I decided to do some exploring around the area. And while I was walking in the forest, this rock guy started shooting fireballs at my face. How many things in this mod pack shoot fireballs? And then I punched a sheep, and this thing started shooting lasers at me. 100 days of this? No way. Nah. But you know what? The lads defeated the laser shooting whatever it was. And I got some stuff from it. I have no idea what any of this does, but I had a feeling it would come in handy at some point. On day 11 I punched a sheep again, and this time the Grim Reaper came out, and he was whispering some weird stuff, but you know what, he wasn't that strong. I took him down, dropped some purple stuff. Again, have no idea what any of this does. And then I crafted my battle axe, and this thing was great. The damage was really good. I finally had an actual weapon. Took me long enough. Spent day 12 gathering food and XP. You know what, thanks to this battle axe, that didn't take long at all. I even, look, the spider dropped my first heart shard. With 9 of these, I can add an extra life to my health bar. Good day. I tried to finish up the base on day 13. Even had to borrow some resources from the village on day 14. By the end of day 14, the ugly house was finally finished. It took a while, but it was finally done. I decided to stay up late to get some XP, and the skeleton has an instrument. Okay. But wow, look at all this XP. It was the battle axe. It's like it was forged for me. I was slicing and dicing, and yeah, XP all around. I felt like I was finally getting a hang of this RLCraft thing. I'll be honest, this skeleton came out of nowhere. I was almost overwhelmed, but my guy had no clue what I was wielding. After that little battle, I called it a day. In the morning of day 15, I distributed all my XP into attack and mining, and finally I was high enough level to start mining iron. This was some actual progress, and I was a little bit skeptical to go deeper into this cave. I couldn't shake the feeling that there was someone or something waiting to absolutely pummel me on the other side. But I did go in, and I decided to make this my mine. The next day I melt down some of the iron ore that I had found, and I could now collect wheat but not the other crops just yet. I spent the day chopping down trees to get resources that I would use the next day to improve my mine entrance. And on day 17, that's exactly what I did. I improved the mine entrance. The next day I worked on the inside of the mine, trying to make it look a little bit nicer as well. And I also crafted iron armor, but I was too low level to even put it on, so I stayed up a bit later to get some experience. And let me tell you, those zombies came out full force. I thought I was finished. But I was able to deal with them, and I ended up with loads of XP. I put every single bit of XP into defense, but I still wasn't high enough level to wear the iron armor. The next day I lined the inside of my mine with stone brick, and then I went off to fight the zombies again. And you know what? Fighting them during the day is just as bad as fighting them at night. Then I spent the rest of the day just standing around. On day 20 I finished up the mine, and it looked way worse than I thought it ever was going to. Then I looked at the sunset again. Nice. Day 21 was so uneventful that showing just a black screen is enough to describe that day. Trust me. You know, all that happened was I tried to take on the battle tower and died to a dumb skeleton twice, but you won't see that because the power cut out. Yep. It turns out I could choose an area to specialize in, and I would get more XP whenever I did the actions of that area. So of course I chose combat because that's like the thing I do the most, so it made sense. Also, who put lions in the game? Lions. If it wasn't for those stupid lions, I wouldn't have died to these joke skeletons. Then I had to really scramble to get my stuff back. It was tough times. And the next day I could finally put on iron armor, but I have no idea what I'm doing. No idea. That day was just wasted. On day 24 I grabbed some torches from the village and went off to go mining. And well, stone guy. That's all I'm gonna say. Stone guy. Every time you mine coal, there's a chance this guy can spawn. Not just coal, just when you're mining, he can just appear and start attacking you. But hey, you know what? Look, my armor was taking shape now. So yeah, that's good. On day 25, I was fully stacked. My armor was fully complete. So you know what I did? I went to the battle tower to take some loot. Wow, look at all these guys. I would hate to be in there. You know what? The battle towers, they give loads of XP as well. I mean, they put up a good fight, but it's a lot of XP. On day 26, I crafted the iron variant of the battle axe, but I wasn't high enough level to use it, so you know what I did? I went back to those zombies that gave me so much trouble before, and it went just as badly as you imagined. But I did reach level 8 combat and I could use the battle axe. On day 27 I went out exploring so I could find some ender pearls, so I could finally make the summoning staff. But instead I found 2 old buildings, a big pile of bones, and whoever this guy is. I also had to fight a lot of silverfish, a lot. I went underground to try get a shade to spawn because they usually drop ender pearls, but that just didn't happen. The thing is, if I could craft a summoning staff, I could change the game. RLCraft can become 100 times easier. Day 28 I went back to try to do the same thing, and again it didn't work. So I thought maybe I would find ender pearls in the battle tower. Yeah, that went badly as well. And then the Root Riot event started. And basically this event just spawns loads of tree and creatures that are plant based, I guess. So you know what I did? I stayed inside. And on day 29, some of the mobs from the Root Riot event, they stuck around. So me and this villager, we fled indoors for our lives. It was just terror outside. Eventually I broke a hole through the back and just fled home. At this rate, without the summoning staff, I'm not gonna survive anything in RLCraft. On day 30, the Root Riot event mobs had disappeared, thankfully, and I spent the rest of the day grinding XP. The next day I was gathering the materials to make an atlas when the Grim Reaper attacked me again, but I took him down, no sweat. I eventually finished the atlas, and this thing would make it much easier to explore. I could even place markers. I basically couldn't get lost with this thing. So I went out and found this underground castle, went in it, and well, I'm not running away, I'm just being safe. Look at this giant bird. I think it's called a Venturaptor. I know I could tame this, but it attacked me, so I had to fight back. I went out to explore on day 32, and then this happened. I don't know what the heck is. Found this really small house and this temple looking thing, and then I heard some aggressive growling, so as any normal human would do, I ran. It's difficult to tell when the sounds are just background noise or if it's actually a threat. It was a threat, a giant frog, and I panicked. I was opening up crafting menus, inventories. I just panicked. My brain was on a complete meltdown. I would have died if it wasn't for Golden Man. But I almost died anyway because I fell in this hole and broke every bone in my body. But at least I survived it and just dug my way out. Wow. Day 33, I grabbed my atlas and went off and found another battle tower. So obviously I went to investigate, and can I just say, I hate battle towers. Oh yeah, and this Grim Reaper? That was the last we saw of him. Day 34, I was like, hey, let me explore a little bit past the town. And boom, I was attacked by some fire bats or something. So I explored in a different direction and I found a full-blown battle tower. And one of the zombies, they dropped an insane battle hammer. And thanks to this hammer, I was doing well. Besides, you know, getting dehydrated, but I was okay. Night fell, so I marked it on the atlas and headed home. Day 35, I went back to the battle tower, and the most intense battle ensued. This was a sign, just go back home, but you know what I did? I stayed and fought, and then I got dehydrated at the worst time, and then I looked down and it's just chaos. So eventually I just decided to just YOLO it and jump. I did make it though, but man, I need to pay attention to my hydration. Then I spent the entire next day fishing. Yeah, just fishing. In the morning of day 37, I was attacked by these lions again. I defeated them though, and then remember that underground castle? Yeah, I built the courage to explore it. I vowed to never go back, ever. And then for some reason I climbed these trees, and somehow that encouraged me to build the ultimate RLCraft home, one that could survive everything that RLCraft could throw at it. I don't know how, I don't know, I got inspired to do this. Then day 38, I was planting all the trees and collecting materials. I was serious. I was gonna build this ultimate fortress. It's gonna be great. Day 39, I was collecting even more materials, and even more on day 40. On day 41, I found a new battle hammer, so I farmed some XP a bit, and on day 42, I accidentally drowned myself, so I made an iron tower shield. But by day 43, I was back on track. And this house is all I worked on for the next 22 days. Yup, 22 days. And what made it worse is that summertime had come around, so I had to cool off 1,000 times just for walking. But it would all be worth it in the end. Did I mention I used a tutorial for this house? So yeah, link in the description. On day 66, the house was done, so I was moving everything from the old house into the new house, and I really liked how this house looked. I really felt like it fit the whole RLCraft vibe. By the way, I'm using dirt on the balcony because nymphs, the little flying guys that heal you, they're attracted by flowers. So I was planning on using bone meal, but I wasn't high enough level, so I just have dirt on the balconies now. On day 68, these skeletons decided to live under my house, and unfortunately I have a strict no skeletons rule. You know what I did with the bones? I tamed this dog and named him Roger. Yep, me and Roger. He's a good guy, this one. After that, I did a bit of yard work just to make the backyard look a bit nice. You know, adding some trees, cutting down the grass. And then Roger took down this chupacabra. And look at the backyard, it's got trees in it now. And that night, the red moon was out. And I'm pretty sure it made mobs spawn twice as much. I'm also pretty sure they were twice as strong. This zombie, it killed me in one punch. One. Good thing I was in my house though, so I just quickly went to get my stuff. But what I didn't realize is that while I was getting my stuff, Roger went to attack the mobs in the backyard. And then they killed him. Yeah, they killed my man Roger. This night was awful. I could hear so many mobs. I was trapped in my own home. Spent the next day inside the battle tower, hoping that by some miracle I would find ender pearls. And after just slicing and dicing for a long time in the battle tower, guess who spawned? It took him long enough. He finally dropped ender pearls. After so long, I would finally be able to make the summoning staff. What a good day this was. I'd been looking for ender pearls since day one. Next day I crafted it, the summoning staff. Finally, I wanted to have this like 50 days ago. This weapon can really flip the tables in RLCraft. The swarm event started, but all the bees were just kind of stuck up in the sky, so I just continued on with my day. In the battle tower, I found some decent loot. I found a diamond sword, some diamond pickaxes, and a recall potion. Not bad. I did melt down the diamond sword and I think one of the diamond pickaxes to get diamond, just because I wanted to craft diamond RLCraft weapons rather than use the regular vanilla weapons, because the RLCraft weapons are way stronger. I did keep one diamond pickaxe though. On day 71 I wanted to craft this potion ring of resistance, but it was quite expensive though, so on day 72 I went off to find diamonds and I found them pretty quickly, but they weren't enough to make what I wanted to make. Day 73 and day 74 were unfortunately lost to corrupted footage, but basically on both the days I spent day 73 collecting XP and testing out the summoning stuff, and day 74 I crafted the avian trees that would let me tame a rock or a venturaptor. And on day 75 I ventured past the forest to see if I could find a rock or a venturaptor so I could finally gain the ability of flight. I had a feeling maybe they'd be somewhere up in the mountains. I never found any of them, but what I did find was a temple, and this temple went underground, and there was probably some good loot in there. So I went to investigate and I saw these bad things again. I'd seen them before and I know they breathe some heavy hitting fire, so I just left. I left there. I didn't want to die and have everything I was holding on me just burn to crisp. I also found some yetis, or whatever these things are. So you know what, I called in the lads with my summoning staff and I initiated the attack. Turns out they were quite harmless. They didn't even try attack me, and they were pretty weak as well. Oops. In the morning of day 76 I did some yard work, and then for the rest of the day I was gathering materials to build an XP farm so I could farm some XP more efficiently. And it was pretty much the same thing on day 77, but on day 78 I saw it. It looked like a bird. Immediately I knew I could tame this thing, so I pulled out the treats and I tamed it. I even had a saddle back in the house. I was already ready for this, and just like that I gained the ability of flight. I also found the last ingredient for the XP farm, which was nether quartz, sitting in one of my old chests from my old house. So I could not only fly, but I could now also continue building the XP farm. I made a soul stone so I could bind my rock to it. This means that if it ever died, it would just respawn, and I could call it in whenever I needed it. On day 79 I started construction on my XP farm. And then RLCraft happened. But the lads took care of it. I love these guys, look, they're great. XP farm was almost finished, but I wasn't high enough level to place redstone. So you know what I did for the rest of the day? I took my rock and just flew. I probably should have spent the day gathering XP, but I don't know, I just flew away. I found what looked like a corrupt biome, so I placed a mark on it and I would never go back to it. Look who else I found, this guy guarding the tower with his life. I tried knocking him off with the minions, but nah, he was just not having it, and he was probably gonna blow me up if I stayed any longer. So I went back home. In the morning of day 80 I had a strange encounter. Look at this guy. My plan for the day was to go back to the battle tower and try the same tactic I tried before, and I was here for ages. The summoning staff takes forever to regain its mana, and while I waited for the summoning staff to regain its mana, I had to dodge this man's fireballs. It was risky. But of course he didn't even fall off the tower. He just fell into it. So now I was just trying to get the minions to damage him and it just was not working. The next day I went exploring to see if I could find any new battle towers. And look, I found one of those trees. Remember that tree? Yep. I found this old abandoned tower that didn't have any loot in it, but next to it there was a battle tower, and I just flew over and took the stuff in it. And I found a crystal heart, which meant I could now add an extra life to my health bar. Remember that tower I found way back when? Yeah, I found it again, and for some reason this one was floating in the sky. I didn't go in it because I already knew it didn't have any loot, but it was nice seeing a familiar place. Near that tower though, there was a village. I went in to see what I could find in the village. I found some armor for my rock. And I'm not gonna lie, an epic battle was about to ensue with this guy, but he does breathe fire. So look who I found all the way out in the desert. The Guardian himself. Look, I wasn't gonna mess with this guy right now. I just wasn't prepared. So I just called it a day and headed back home. And I'm not gonna lie, flying during the night, it's pretty peaceful. Day 82, I was just farming. I don't know, I just felt like farming. Remember the XP farm? Yeah, on day 83, I leveled up myself enough to finally place redstone, and I was able to finish it off, and it worked. It worked really well. I was gaining XP. I planned to get XP for the entirety of day 84, but of course RLCraft can't let me have anything nice, and it spawned in this thing. I tried calling in the lads to deal with it, but no, they went for the wrong enemies. So it was just me and this thing, and it killed me. And then a creeper blew up under my house. Man, day 84 sucked. I had to wait under the trees and wait for a perfect moment to strike. Thank goodness though it wasn't like a boss level type of difficult, and I was able to kill it in a few swings. You know what I did the next day? I built an enclosure to make sure I never have to deal with whatever that was. Then I spent the whole of day 86 farming XP. On day 87, I made the ultimate battle weapon, the diamond battle axe, and then I gathered up some XP so I could actually use it. On day 88, I continued to level myself up, and finally I could use the diamond battle axe. The next day, winter had come around and it was freezing. It was really cold. I spent the day gathering some more XP, and I enchanted the battle axe with sharpness 1. On day 90, I was farming again. I don't know, I was in the mood for farming. I did the same thing on day 91, but day 92 was freezing. Constant hypothermia. No matter where I went, I was under frostbite. I even had to keep myself warm by jumping up and down on day 93. On day 94, I was testing out my summoning stuff because I don't know if you know this, but it's almost time to face the dragon. And you know what wasn't helping? The fact that I kept dying of hypothermia constantly. On day 95, I planned on crafting an unbreakable mining tool, and for that, I needed an equipment forge, but of course I wasn't high enough level to use the equipment forge, so I spent the rest of the day collecting XP. And by day 96, the equipment forge was done. And on 97, I had it. A tool that can mine any block in Minecraft, and it was infinite. So you could mine forever and it wouldn't break. This was good because I need some diamond armor if I'm gonna fight the dragon. I had to spend day 98 farming for diamonds, because if I didn't make diamond armor by day 100, I was finished. And I found some diamonds, but there wasn't that many. I also found whatever that thing is. Yeah, I'm good. The next day I thought it was a good idea to go and eye out the dragon's nest, see if I could maybe steal some loot. Yeah, the dragon was not having it. And now day 100 was just one sleep away. And then it was day 100. I looked at the house we had built over the 100 days. And then I took my rock and went off. And the battle of the ages ensued. I had my summoning staff. I was ready to take this thing down. And then yeah, it one hit me. What have I learned from this encounter? Number 1, dragons are OP. Number 2, I can't fight dragons. Number 3, I probably should have prepared better. Lads, that was 100 days in RLCraft. It took a while to make, but I did have a lot of fun playing it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and leave a comment. Say hi down in the comments. Lads, stay hopeful. I'll see you in the next video. Until then.